Picture this, a world where an AI doesn't just run on silicon chips, but actually grows its own brain cells. A laboratory dish glows in neon light, and inside it, a cluster of living neurons sparks with electricity. On a screen nearby, a simple video game plays, and the AI's living brain is controlling it. Science fiction? It might sound like a scene from a futuristic movie, but this is happening right now. Researchers are blurring the line between machine and biology. What happens when artificial intelligence starts growing its own brain? Is this the future unfolding before us? Let's break it down. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is when machines mimic human intelligence. It means they can learn, solve problems, or make decisions, without being explicitly programmed for every step. Think of your phone's voice assistant or a self-driving car. They're not just following instructions, they're adapting, learning. Now, what about brain cells? Neurons are the tiny powerhouses inside our brains. They process and send electrical signals. One neuron connects to thousands of others, forming a massive communication network. Everything we think, feel, or remember starts with neurons firing. You can think of them as nature's original computer chips. Now here's where it gets mind-bending. Scientists are merging these two worlds, the artificial and the biological. They're creating hybrid systems where real brain cells work together with computer chips. In Australia, researchers at Cortical Labs led by Dr. Brett Kagan did something extraordinary. They grew about 800,000 live neurons from human stem cells and mouse brain tissue and placed them on a silicon chip. This living network was then connected to a computer. But they didn't stop there. They taught the neurons to play Pong, yes, the classic video game. Here's how it worked. The neurons received signals about the position of the ball on the screen. They didn't understand it at first. They fired randomly, but the researchers added feedback. When the neurons hit the ball correctly, they got a simple, rewarding signal. When they missed, they got a chaotic, disorganized signal. Over time, the neurons started to prefer the reward. They learned. Within just 5 minutes, this dish of brain cells began playing Pong better than chance. No code, no software, just real brain cells adapting to the environment. This wasn't a pre-programmed AI. This was learning, happening in a petri dish. It's called dish brain, and it's the first time neurons in a lab were trained to complete a task. Now, why does this matter? Because it opens up a world of possibilities. Imagine using this system to test new drugs for Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. Instead of waiting years for trials, researchers could test treatments directly on lab-grown neurons. Or think about advanced prosthetics, limbs that communicate directly with the brain. By merging neurons and machines, we might build smarter, more natural-feeling devices. Even more, these systems could one day help model the human brain itself. By studying how neurons learn and adapt in a controlled setting, we get closer to understanding how we think. And here's something else. Our brains are incredibly efficient. They can learn from just a few examples and use very little energy. If we apply that to computing, we might build future AI systems that are faster and use a fraction of today's power. A startup called Final Spark is already developing brain-based computers using organoids, small clumps of brain-like tissue. They claim these systems could use 100,000 times less energy than traditional chips. So what's the catch? This is where ethics and philosophy come in. If we keep growing more complex brain-AI hybrids, at what point do they become more than just tissue? Could they become sentient? Could they feel? Right now, the neurons aren't conscious. They're not aware. But if we keep scaling up, we just don't know. That's why scientists are working closely with ethicists to make sure we don't cross lines we don't understand. And it raises another question. If these systems start to think in their own way, who's in control? Can we predict how they'll evolve? And what boundaries should exist? Some even ask, could AI with neurons develop intuition? Could it feel frustration or satisfaction? Could it one day have consciousness? Right now, we're far from that. Dishbrain is simple. It's not aware. But the trajectory is clear. AI is evolving fast. And the tools of biology are becoming part of it. We're entering a future where intelligence isn't just artificial, it's alive. So what do you think? Are we building the next generation of medical miracles, or opening doors we don't fully understand? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have an honest conversation. And if you found this video fascinating, subscribe to AI MedX Revolution. We're exploring how AI is reshaping the future of medicine, one breakthrough at a time. Don't forget to like, share, and hit the bell so you never miss what's coming next. Because the revolution in healthcare is only just beginning.